You are listening to the Cookbook Love Podcast with Maggie Green, episode number 365.
Welcome to the Cookbook Love Podcast, a podcast that celebrates cookbook readers, buyers, collectors, writers, and clubs. And now your host, cookbook author, culinary dietitian, and cookbook writing coach, Maggie Green.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Cookbook Love Podcast. How's everybody doing today? As always, hope you're doing well. I am here in my cookbook bunker recording this right before the Labor Day weekend. So looking forward to a nice long weekend, unofficial beginning of summer, and kickoff of University of Kentucky football season, which means that college football starts tomorrow. So by the time this show comes out, the outcome of the game, which we are going to tomorrow, will be known. We'll be headed into week 2, and we'll go into that game also. They're playing Toledo tomorrow and Ole Miss next week, and really looking forward to enjoying the football games. Last week when I recorded the show, I was making focaccia bread from a cookbook that I had been sent to preview for having a guest come on the show, and I wanted to tell you about how that focaccia bread turned out. I think the thing about the recipe, which I mentioned in the introduction last time, was that it had to beat on the dough hook for 14 minutes, and then it took 5 hours of rising, and then the result was not that stellar. It was good, had a good flavor. I thought the salt level was good. I thought the way that the dough, the hydration content was good. The way that the onions were sliced really thin and then pressed down into the dough made a really flavorful onion and olive focaccia. But I have to say that the recipe from Marcella Hazen's Classics of Italian Cooking is the best focaccia bread. And I think that's an interesting thing to think about when we think about cookbooks. Her recipe is my favorite and the one I always turn to, and has become part of my repertoire for the recipe I use for focaccia bread. But there are people who are now starting to buy cookbooks, diving into cookbooks, exploring cookbooks, and it's possible that the recipe that I tried and put up against the one from Marcella's book will be their favorite recipe. Because Marcella's book isn't something that they have even maybe had access to, isn't a book they have in their collection, is one they're not even aware of, is a book that they would never even really consider using a recipe out of because they don't know about it. So I think that's the fascinating thing about cookbooks is as people are starting to explore a new topic, or they get a new book, or they're given a book as a gift, the recipes that are in that book become part of their repertoire and become perhaps family favorites. And I tell my students this all the time because it's important when we think about new stories, new cookbooks, new recipes. Although focaccia bread isn't anything new, it's still important to publish recipes from our own perspective, using our own style, our own words, through the experience that we have in our kitchen. So I just wanted to give you an update about that focaccia bread. I'm going to stick with the recipe that I've always used. That doesn't mean that I won't have the person that wrote this book on the show. I don't really know what the outcome of that will be, but I kind of wanted to follow up on the focaccia bread discussion that we had last week. Now today I'm cooking a breakfast cookie. It is a recipe actually in this month's issue of Southern Living magazine. We are tailgating tomorrow for the football game. So the game is at noon. So everything that we are taking for the food will be something we can eat in the morning. So I thought the breakfast cookie sounded good, and I'll give you an update about that next week. They're an oatmeal-based cookie with banana and peanut butter, coconut, chocolate chips, chopped pecans, and I think that's it. Some spices maybe. Makes about 18 cookies. I look forward to having them tomorrow alongside with other good food for our tailgate party. And check that recipe out. If you sure you can find it online at Southern Living, or if for some reason you don't subscribe to the magazine and you're interested in good recipes like that and stories about the South, including gardening, home decorating, home design, a little bit of occasionally hunting, then that's a good Southern magazine. The one that I actually prefer, what talks about a little more art and culture and even gets more into hunting if you're into it, is called Garden and Gun. And that magazine's based out of Charleston, South Carolina, all about Southern food, culture, and the arts. Okay, so one more announcement before we dive into the show today. I am in the middle of a 3-part video training series called the Cookbook Publishing Masterclass. So if you are interested in learning more about cookbook publishing, becoming a cookbook author, and making the decision to package your recipes, stories, and processes in a cookbook, head on over to www.cookbookwritersacademy.com/CPM. You can leave your name and email address and get instant access to the video training. So today on the show, I am joined by Camille Beckstrand of Six Sisters Stuff. What began in 2011 as a way for 6 biological sisters to stay connected after leaving their childhood home has grown into one of the top family-friendly recipe websites on the internet. With a focus on simple, approachable meals, Six Sisters Stuff has become a trusted source for millions of families worldwide. Their latest cookbook, 30-Minute Meals with Six Sisters Stuff, is what we're here to talk about today. It brings their signature family-first approach into the kitchen with more than 100 quick, delicious, and stress-free recipes. Today on the show, Camille and I talk all about the evolution of the Six Sisters Stuff blog, from blog to thriving business. We talk about how writing cookbooks fits alongside of online recipes. We talk about how they choose cookbook topics and themes, as well as strategies for making meals in under 30 minutes, fan favorite recipes such as lemon brownies, 2-ingredient naan, butter chicken, and Mexican street corn tacos, as well as why is dinner served in bowls so popular right now. This episode is packed with insights about food blogging, cookbook writing, and making mealtime easier, and a topic near and dear to my heart, which is having a lot of biological sisters. Camille has 5 biological sisters. There are 6 of them. I have 6 biological sisters. There are 7 of us. So we also get into a discussion about sisterhood, the beauty of sisterhood, and what we both love about having lots of sisters. So without further delay, let's dive into this interview with Camille Beckstrand. Hi, Camille. Welcome to the Cookbook Love podcast.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, very excited to have you too. We're going to talk all about the Six Sisters brand new book that's coming out and just released, 30-Minute Meals. But before we get started, I always have everyone tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So, like you said, my name's Camille Beckstrand. I currently live just outside of Salt Lake City, Utah. Love the mountains, love the 4 seasons. It's just, I'm born and raised here, and I will stay here for the rest of my life because I love it so much. Married to my husband of 21 years. We have 4 beautiful kids. And for my day job, my 24/7 job is mom, and it is my favorite job that I have ever done. And that is where my heart is. But my day job is being part of the Six Sisters brand. And yes, there really are 6 of us. We are biological sisters, and we work together to share easy recipes for moms and dads and just anyone in general. We have had college students reach out to us and say, "Oh, I'm so thankful for your recipes." We've had empty nesters reach out and say, "Oh, your recipes are saving us." And so kind of the full range of ages are what our recipes serve. But our goal is to help make getting dinner on the table simple.
Mhm.
because we know there's so much magic that happens at that dinner table when you can sit down and talk with these people that you do life with. And it's not always about the food, but the food is what brings people together. And so we just want to help people make easy food that helps bring people together.
Yes, and when someone has a family, like you said, if it's family recipes, families who moms and dads who turn to your recipes, simple works for so
Yes.
many people. And
Yeah.
it seems like from the beginning, you're all's focused on simple and easy to use, and even some meal plans and budget friendly. How did the Six Sisters get their start?
You know, it was almost by accident. We were in a phase of life where, so I'm the oldest of my sisters, and we're all about 2 years apart. And so we got to do a lot of big life phases together. A lot of us were going to college at the same time. A lot of us were moving out at the same time or around the same time. A lot of us were getting married and dating around the same time and starting careers. And so we were doing all these big life steps together. And it was when some of us started having babies and young kids and juggling what it looked like to be a mom and to have a job and to be married and to make dinner every night. And it felt overwhelming at times. And so we started our blog actually was a way to stay in touch with each other. It was a way we shared messages with one another and checked in with each other. But then we started sharing, oh, I made mom's cheesy potatoes. Here's the recipe. Oh, I made this really easy slow cooker pork chop recipe. It was inexpensive. Everybody loved it. Here's how I did it. And we started sharing these recipes. And what's funny is it was just for each other. We made it for the six of us and kind of as a way to organize these recipes that we were all sharing. But then people started to find us. The beauty of Google, when
Oh,
people would
wow.
Google, yeah, cheesy potatoes, and the traffic would start to come in. And then um, our blog started right around the same time as Pinterest. I
Mhm.
don't know if you
Yep.
remember when Pinterest was starting out, and it was invitation only. And we were one of the people who got an invitation. One of the sisters got an invitation to join Pinterest right at the beginning. And we had no idea what we were doing, both thought, well, let's pin some of our recipes to these boards. And some of our recipes that we pinned ended up going viral, bringing millions of
Mm.
page views into onto this little blog that we had, this little Google blog spot that we had made. And so from there, we started learning and just figuring it out as we went how to turn this little blog into a business. And now, 14, almost 15 years later, here we are.
Mm. Amazing. And turning a blog into a business doesn't just happen overnight.
Goodness, no.
Yeah, and but I think the neat thing about having 6 sisters involved is I suspect you all have different skill sets, different things that you're
Absolutely.
able to do. So talk a little bit about the evolution of it from, the Google Spot blog where you were just sharing recipes with your sisters to when you all realized that this was something that you could run as a business.
Yeah. So when the traffic started coming, when we started getting page views from all over the country and then all over the world, and what was fun is we could watch the analytics and we could see how many people were on our website at that moment and what recipes they were looking at. And we just, there has to be a way to monetize this traffic. And that's when we got into the world of ads and placing ads on our site. And I know some people might feel like, oh, but it's a nuisance when you get on a website and there's ads there. But we feel like we were offering this service of these free recipes to the world that putting ads on there just helped us, make a couple pennies in exchange. And we just kept using different social media platforms and marketing, learning how to market our recipes and share them with the world because they say, like, if you build it, they will come. There's
Mhm.
that famous quote. And that's not true with blogs. Just because you put something on a website or a blog doesn't mean the world's just going to start coming. We had a few lucky breaks where people found us organically, but for the most part, it came because of the work that we did to put our stuff out there,
Mm-hmm.
to bring people into our website. And so that became our focus, is how can we put more of our recipes out into the world. We did a lot with Pinterest. We started growing our Facebook page and sharing recipes on there and encouraging our followers to share it with people they know. And Instagram, when that hit the scene, we jumped right on it and thought, okay, we got to get on this platform. We started sharing videos on YouTube showing people how to make the recipes and kind of let them into our world and see what it was like in our kitchens. And just we were on all of these social media platforms and we're very active on them. And that is what brought the people in, and that is what helped our company to grow. And it was hard work and it was slow,
Mm-hmm.
but we just kept going.
Yeah.
And that's why we are here today talking
Yeah.
about where we are at.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that
Yeah.
often when you're building a business, sometimes it is slow and sometimes there'll be little spurts, that take you forward faster than you had before. But I think persistence is a big thing. And also using your social media to drive traffic back to your website, right? The website was always the
Yes.
main thing, and the blog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All roads pointed back to the website
Yeah.
because we knew if we could get them there, that is how we would get ad revenue. And we also knew that's where we could encourage them to sign up for our email newsletter and
Yes.
collect emails. So
Yes, yes, and the emails are wonderful. I have a active email list, and it's one of the favorite parts of my business because
absolutely.
people are there because they want to be there.
Yeah, they chose it.
Yes, yeah, and anymore, I think that it's one of the assets that it ranks right up there as something that we um, own, so to speak.
Hmm.
It's ours. It's my list is unique to me and your list is unique to you. And
Yes.
the people that are on it are completely different, but they're there because
Yes.
they want to be there. And if someone should decide they want to unsubscribe, they can.
Yeah.
I actually love email, and I know that it is something that has always been a part of the picture. And I'm sure your email list is the same way. You've probably watched it grow over the years, and
Yes.
people come and go, but there's still people on my list that I think have been here for like a long time.
Isn't that fun
It
to
is fun.
to make that connection and grow that
Yes.
community after all these
Yeah.
years?
Yeah. And the community can build because of email. So that's wonderful that you do that
Absolutely.
as well, and that the website is the main
Yeah.
thing. But then you started to
Yes.
probably do other things other than just recipes. What else started working for you when it came to the website?
Well, we have tried everything under the sun. We have branched out into so many different things, because as you were talking about earlier, with six of us working together, we all had different talents and different gifts and different things we were passionate about. And there were certain sisters that were more into health, and there were certain sisters who were more into finding a good deal, and there were certain sisters who um, loved the business side of things. And we have ventured into all of these areas. We um, had different arms of our business. At one point, we had Six Sisters Strong, which was health and fitness for moms. And we had Six Sisters Style, where it
Hmm.
was like, let us help you find good deals on clothes that moms will love. And we had Startup Spark for a little bit, where we helped coach other moms like us who wanted to start a business or who wanted to start a food blog or write a cookbook. And so we have ventured in all of these areas. And what's so funny is some of those were fantastic and were great sources of revenue, but it's always come back to the
Yeah.
blog and
Yeah.
to our recipes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been
That's
a
amazing.
journey.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's really what your main core audience knew you for. And that's what they continue
absolutely.
to come back for is your simple family recipes, easy to use meal plans, and budget friendly cooking.
Yeah,
Now, cookbooks are a big part of this, though.
they are.
Yeah. So
Yes.
tell us about a food blog, recipe blog, and cookbooks by the same people and
Yes.
how they fit in your business model side by side.
Yeah. So our first book, let's see, we launched our blog in 2011, and then we got our first cookbook deal in 2012, and we published that first book in 2013. And at that point, we probably only had a couple hundred recipes on our blog. Like we weren't even that well known, but because of the growth that we had been experiencing in that first year, a cookbook publisher was very interested in working with us. And what's so fascinating, a lot of people have said, okay, but now that I can get all your recipes on a blog, why would I buy your cookbook? Why would I even need a cookbook? And what's so fun about it is that our audience loves cookbooks. I think for a lot of them, a cookbook feels like a curated best of collection. It kind of takes away the decision fatigue because at this point, we have almost 4,000 recipes on our website. You can scroll endlessly looking for what to make for dinner, but what our cookbooks do is they kind of give you a trusted set of recipes in one place. I think that our audience also has fallen in love with the storytelling and depth that comes with a cookbook because you have beautiful covers and photography, and we can share maybe the story behind the recipe and what sister wrote it. And yeah, you can find that on the website, but there's just something about feeling that physical cookbook in your hands that that our readers have loved, and they
Yeah.
loved the extra tips and the family traditions that we include. The cookbook almost feels like an experience, not just a list of instructions that you would find on our website or even chat gpt.
Yeah.
And so I think our
100%.
cookbooks, yeah, they've given just that deeper connection.
Yeah.
um, and so it's been a huge part of our business.
Yeah. And of course, on the Cookbook Love podcast, you're singing to the choir, so to speak. Everybody here is here because they love cookbooks. Either they're writing them or they collect them, or some people read them
Yes.
and don't cook. They love to read cookbooks. So it's possible that even through a cookbook, you're reaching people that maybe never even visited your food blog.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating too is that blogs and websites, they kind of come and go, but a cookbook just feels so permanent. It's fun to look back at all of our cookbooks over the last 11, 12 years since we've started writing them, and to look at our first cookbook. It's got our logo from our very first website. It's got our first sister's picture that we took for our website. What's so fun is you get this piece of history that you can't find on our website anymore. And it's fun because people love that nostalgia, and they love that they have a piece of that history, especially our community that's been with us from the beginning. It's almost like they're collector's items, all our cookbooks through the
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. And I was looking at your books on your site. You have your first one, then you have a sweets and treats, you have a
Mhm.
Christmas book, a year
Yes.
with six sisters stuff. That's neat to go through a year.
Yeah.
Celebrate every season, dinner made easy, copycat cooking, six ingredients, healthy eats, instant cooking, and of course, the one that's new is 30-minute meals.
Yes.
Yeah. And all, like you said, a curated, best of collection, trusted set of recipes in one place, storytelling, photos, all the things that go along with cookbooks. And I just love that even with the food blog, that this still fits and offers
Absolutely.
not only some people who read your blog an opportunity to buy a book, but people who don't even visit your blog an opportunity to buy a book. And it might even head people over to your blog. You never really know how people can get there. And
Sure.
it's probably one of the things that's harder to track, I would suspect, if someone buys a book and lands on your blog. Not quite a clean trail to get there, but I think
Yes.
it's wonderful. So
Yeah.
let's
A
talk a
trail
little. A
nonetheless.
trail nonetheless, exactly.
Yep.
So what has changed over the years when it comes to your blog and the online food space?
Oh, everything. Since we started, everything. When we began this food blog, we, like I mentioned before, we didn't have much money, and actually everything that we have done um, for this website has been grassroots marketing. We didn't have money to invest in ads or to buy traffic or anything to be done professionally. We designed our first logos using little websites online that would help us design a logo
Yeah.
for free. And we just figured it out. We were taking photos of our food with our flip phone cameras because that's all we had. So they're blurry and the lighting is terrible and the coloring is off. And so if you look at where we began and where we are now, that journey in and of itself has been such a journey of evolution, but also the whole food space and the online space and the social media space. And I think something that has set us apart from the food bloggers who have stopped or the websites that are no longer current or they're no longer active is that we always focused on evolving. We always did the things that we needed to do to stay current and to constantly evolve. Like I was saying, when Instagram came out, we jumped on that train. We learned what we needed to learn because we knew our audience of moms was there. And that's where we needed to be. And then with YouTube, we knew that was an audience of people wondering, well, how do I cook this? How do I cook this? And we thought we want to be their go to source. So it's important that we are on YouTube. And so with social media and with the changes in AI and the changes in SEO, we're always evolving and we were always looking to the future and having mentors help us figure that out too.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people that have a business, or maybe they have some sort of a website or a course or something that they're teaching online. Some of them don't
Mhm.
have the most positive things to say often about social media. And I think it's important for people to remember that, to think about social media as a way to meet your customer, a new customer,
Yeah,
somebody that maybe you haven't met before. Because all of us that have businesses, we've met the people who we're interacting with in our communities somehow. Like you
yeah,
said, it could be through paid traffic, it could be through organic, but either way, there's somehow that they were attracted to our communities. And what have you all done, or how do you navigate the social media landscape so that it feels like a way that you're really still there interacting with the people who want to use your recipes and interact with the sisters?
yeah. Well, we have what we call our avatar, our our perfect customer, our mom that just loves every recipe that we make, and we do everything for her. Her name is
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
and we just keep Susan in the back of our mind in every video that we make, in every recipe that we post, in every meal plan we put together in our meetings. And when we discuss things, we always say, would Susan love this? Is this helping Susan? What is it that Susan needs today? And we keep that in our mind when we go live on Facebook or when we share a video on YouTube. Of course, it's going to be found and seen by people who aren't our perfect fit, who aren't our biggest cheerleaders and support. And they'll share comments and they'll say things like, oh, this is the worst recipe ever. Why would you share this? You guys are fakes or whatever. Like,
Right.
and they say not kind things, and those can get to you. Those comments for sure hurt. But we always come back to, oh, that person isn't Susan. We're doing
Exactly.
this for Susan.
Yes.
And we keep our focus on her, which
Because
she's not even a
she
real
loves all,
person.
but she loves everything that you do.
Yes, yes. And so we always just steer it back to her
Yeah.
and keep the focus
And
on her. And
there are people like her in your audience. I'm sure if you're
absolutely.
always thinking that Susan loves everything you do, that there are other people that feel the same way.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. It's so important that you said that, because to me that is the secret to it, is
It
keeping your
is.
eye on the people that love what you do. And if
Yeah.
you want to name it or name her or him, then do that, because that helps so much. It really
It
personalizes
does.
it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It makes it feel real.
Yeah. Rather than thinking you're going to navigate what you post based on someone in high school who maybe doesn't like the fact that you're online, well, that is not going to be that is not the
Yes.
juice that we need to be sharing our content. Or
Yep.
like, I don't know about you, but in our family, I come from a big family.
Hmm.
We weren't supposed to blow our own horn. We weren't supposed to over talk about ourselves, and all that
Yes.
kind of stuff. And this promotion can feel kind of icky, but it's not icky
Yeah.
when you think about it as really truly connecting with people who love what you have to offer.
Yes. And who need what you have to
Yeah,
offer, who
100%.
you, yeah, you know it will help make their life easier. And when it comes from that place, it's a lot easier to talk about and
Yeah.
share.
Yeah, and I think it's very inspiring to talk that way, and it just uplifts the whole conversation. So,
Yes.
so great, and, like you said, of course, there'll be other things sometimes that might get to you, but keeping our focus on Susan is, just the best way to go about it. So all of your books then
Yeah.
have been written for her as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time we are brainstorming a new cookbook, it comes back to, okay, what does Susan need in this season of her life? Our instant cooking came about when the instant pots were all the rage. And we're like, okay, Susan just got an instant pot for Christmas,
Yep,
but she doesn't know what to cook in it. And so that's where
yep,
our instant cooking cookbook came from.
yep, and 11 cookbooks in, we're now talking about
Yes.
30-minute meals. It's
Yeah.
amazing to me that it took 11 cookbooks to get here, but when you look at all your other topics, those are things Susan needed also.
It's true. It's true. And I guess Susan's in a season right now where this is what she needs. And
Yeah,
so it was
yeah.
time.
Yeah, I think it is time too, because you've talked about, like you said, the instant cooker, you've talked about health, you've talked about the
Yeah.
copycat recipes, dinner made
Yes.
easy, seasonal things, Christmas,
Mhm.
sweets, a year-long, journey through your recipes. But
Yeah.
what makes 30-minute meals so popular? Other than the fact that they're 30 minutes, I mean, because this phrase and the way that uh, is not new.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not. And
Yeah.
I think it came about just because as busy parents ourselves, we know most people don't have hours to spend in the kitchen. And so we wanted to make meals that tasted good and that seemed doable in just a short amount of time. If you hear that you can have a meal made from start to finish in 30 minutes, it's like, okay, I can do that. It's a doable time frame that can fit into real life.
Yeah, and were you all pretty strict about the 30-minute time?
Yeah. Well, and what's funny is we discussed this and realized that that was kind of our own personal limit that we would put on, okay, I have, X amount of time to spend on dinner tonight. And it was funny, all of us were like, 30 minutes max.
Yep,
So we thought this is perfect because this is real life.
yeah, and the thing is, though, with 30 minutes, that eliminates a whole bunch of things.
It does. Yeah. And it makes you start looking at the simplicity of a good recipe. Like,
Mhm,
okay, what can I trim out the fluff and just get down to the good parts? And
yeah,
so that our goal is to have it still be delicious, still be yummy, but also feel doable and find things that you could purchase at any standard grocery store, or that you could have groceries delivered to your door instead of having to go to specialty shops or butchers and get special things that you're only going to use for one recipe. We just keep it simple.
yeah, and so outside of the appetizer chapter, and then there's also a side dish and dessert chapter, the
Mhm.
main chapters are categorized by the protein that's in them. We have beef,
Yeah.
chicken, meatless, pork, seafood, and turkey. But within those
Mhm.
chapters, they're not all the same types of things. For example, I see soup recipes, I see pasta recipes, but they all contain that main protein ingredient in that
Yeah.
chapter. So, what are some strategies that you all uncovered that you realized were across the board some 30-minute strategies that were kind of a common theme throughout the whole book?
Well, I think the first strategy that we had in mind as we were approaching this this book was budgets.
Mhm.
We knew that moms and dads and all people in general are shopping what's on sale and are shopping maybe less expensive cuts of meat. And so instead of planning their meals around, what sounds good, what's their favorite thing, they're planning their meals around what they can afford.
Mhm.
And a lot of times it was specific um, leaner cuts of meat. And so we thought, let's build our cookbook around that, because that is what we noticed on our website that people were searching for were protein specific recipes. And so we thought, let's combine short amounts of time, 30 minutes, with these cuts of meat that are inexpensive, but they also cook faster and that are affordable and can be found at any standard grocery store instead of a specialty butcher. And so that was kind of our first strategy when it came um, to writing this cookbook,
Mhm.
was helping people in this season, in
Yep.
this economic climate that we
Yes.
are experiencing today.
Yes.
And so that
Yes.
that was kind of the first frame of mind. And then the second frame of mind was, not only do these cuts have to cook faster, but they also can't sacrifice flavor.
Mhm.
We wanted it to still be yummy. Even though our recipes are simple, we still want them to be good. We don't
Yeah.
want people to be like, oh, that was
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
We
No.
want people to show
Yeah.
up at the table excited about what they were going to eat. So, chicken breast, thighs, pork tenderloin, thinner cuts of beef, things like that, that felt doable, felt approachable, felt affordable,
Yeah.
and that real everyday cooks in the kitchen are using.
Yeah. And I saw the use of two countertop appliances, the air fryer and
Mhm.
the multi cooker. So talk a little bit about that.
If you have followed us for any amount of time, you know that we love simple kitchen appliances. We don't think you need all of them. You don't need a counter full of all these different appliances that do different things. But when it comes down to it, our multi cooker appliance, some people call it a pressure cooker, some people call it an instant pot. That is probably our go to appliance that we choose. It just can do so much in so little time, and it can be used for so many different, not only cuts of meat and recipes, but just different food items that you want to cook. And then our air fryer, we just love the versatility that comes with that and the fun things that you can do with it in a really quick amount of time, plus the health aspect. And so those are our two kitchen appliances of choice that we say, you can invest in this. It's going to make cooking that much easier and that much more doable for you in this busy season of your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, and I think also any investment in those appliances with a book like this, there's certainly appliances that will be used. It's not like
Yeah.
you'll only use them one time. I mean, I saw multiple recipes for both of those, which is good because I
Yeah.
think that helps to help people think about these are the kinds of things that sometimes really help us take things that might normally take more than 30 minutes and turn it into something that takes 30 minutes or less.
That's exactly it. And you're buying yourself time.
Yes.
And that investment is always worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you all
Yeah.
go about picking the topics then for all of your cookbooks other than thinking about Susan and what she would
Uh-huh.
eat and what she would love? What else helps you all decide that 30-minute meals was the thing that we need to talk about in this particular book?
So we usually have one big brainstorming session where we just go through and say, okay, so our topic is 30-minute meals. What would this look like? What could this be? And this brainstorming session usually takes a couple hours, but by the end, we know not only the different topics that are going to be in each book, but we also know the recipes that are going into it. And then we divide it by six, and each of us take a sixth of the recipes. We develop them and we also test them out on our families.
Yep.
They pass if our families approve.
Yep.
If they don't, it's back to the drawing board. But our families really are our food testers and let us know if the food is good or not. We each have four, well, one sister has three, A couple of us have 4, and there's even 2 sisters who have 5 kids.
Yeah.
So between all of us, we've got plenty of kids who will give us honest feedback about what they think. And that's our
That's
process.
the beautiful thing about children is they'll tell you exactly what they think. And a lot of
Yes.
times it's just honesty without any cruel intent, but it's just the
Oh
truth.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Oh, it's raw, and they don't mean it to hurt you, but they are
no,
just telling you the
right.
truth.
And Susan, I'm sure,
Yes.
has children, and you want her children to love the food as much as your kids do.
Absolutely. We always say our food is family tried and tested, and we stand by that because our kids have been our guinea pigs for years, especially when we were getting started and we were kind of learning how to cook ourselves. None of us have any professional training whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's all self-taught and through trial and error. And there was a time, I have a son who is 16, but when he was 3 and our blog was still new and I was still learning how to cook and how to use my slow cooker, he was saying the prayer at our dinner table. We always pray before we eat. And he said, "Dear God, please bless that mom won't make food that makes us shudder." And that has stuck with me for all these years because he would try a bite and shudder and say, "This is not good, mom." It's so our food really has been tried and tested through all our families.
Yeah. Now, if you were working on a recipe or one of your recipes developing it, if the family was like, I don't know, would you say, well, this is something that really needs to be in the book. Let's send this to another sister to see what they think or let them give it a try? Has it ever passed off among the sisters?
We've done that once or twice, and I
Yeah.
can think of some instances where that has happened where it's like, you know what, my kids do not like seafood,
Yeah.
but I know that your family would like this. So we've done that. But honestly, usually we just go back to the drawing board and either tweak the recipe to make it taste better, tweak cooking times, tweak ingredients, or we just pick a new recipe altogether.
Yep. That's great. So what's the breakdown? Then a lot of people wonder if I buy 30-minute meals, what do you have a certain percentage of recipes that are in the book but not on the blog?
It varies from book to book. But in 30-minute meals, I would say most of them are actually on the blog, like probably a solid 60% you can
Yeah.
find on our website.
Yeah.
And like we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
the people but our followers who buy our cookbooks, they know that. But because the recipes are buried in the thousands of other recipes, they like the curation. They
100%.
like that
Yeah.
they can have it in their hands and they don't have to do the searching on our
I agree
website.
with that completely. I think that's one of the
Yeah.
biggest benefits of getting a printed cookbook is the curation and the way that they're brought together with a common thread and that people know, okay, here they all are, all the 30-minute
Yes.
meals under one cover. But if there's still 40% of the recipes that would be new. And also for the people that never have even visited your blog.
Absolutely.
Wonderful for them to be able to discover the book and use it. And they're all new to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think a lot of people wonder from a publisher's perspective, like, oh no, if I have a blog, I have to have all new recipes. But I don't think that that's necessarily true.
You know what? It really isn't. And we have found that a lot of times cookbook community, they love cookbooks. And our online community really likes to find recipes online. We almost have kind of a separation. And there's some crossover in the middle, but for the most part, they kind of love one or the other. And
Yeah.
that's where they find us. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's right. All right. Would you be willing to talk about a few of the recipes that are in the book? Some that I thought sounded really good, and just to give people an idea about the breadth of things that are in here.
Yeah. That
So
would be
one
so
of
fun.
yeah,
Let's do
one
it.
of them is Mexican street corn chicken tacos. Now, chicken tacos, and
Yes.
then there's Mexican street corn, but this looks delicious because it combines the two.
Exactly. It's kind of a mashup of them, all the flavors. It's so good.
Yeah, and prep time 15 minutes, and cook time
Yeah,
only 15
really quick.
minutes. Yeah, very quick.
Yes, comes together really fast. And that one is actually on our website, and we included it in the book because of its popularity, because People love how fast it comes together. It's something they serve at parties because it looks impressive. It looks pretty. It has great flavor and it's so easy. People don't realize how simple it really is.
Yeah. Now, in the side dish chapter, it includes
Mhm,
bread, salad, and then different
mhm,
sides. One of the breads I
mhm.
want to talk about is the easy naan. A lot of people think, well, flatbread,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can make bread or do bread in this time frame, but this recipe uses Greek yogurt and self-rising flour for
Yes.
the dough.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. And it's so simple. And what's funny is this recipe, we have a version of this recipe on our website. And it took off during the pandemic when everyone was at home. And I don't know if you remember, so many people were baking bread during that time, discovering sourdough, but there were still a lot of people who felt like, I can't do sourdough. I don't have hours upon hours. I'm still working. I'm doing homeschool with my kids. I'm trying to entertain my kids. And so we were like, try this naan bread. How easy it is. It's really simple, just a handful of ingredients. And it was so fun because so many moms were like, I have never been able to successfully make bread. And I was able to do this naan bread and it came together so easy. You don't even need yeast. It's really soft, it's chewy. So
Yeah.
that recipe has been a lot of fun. If you don't have success with bread, try this naan. It's simple.
Yeah, and the suggestion for the serving with that is with the multi-cooker butter chicken, which is also in the
Yes.
book and obviously a 30-minute recipe, but who wouldn't love to
Mhm.
make butter chicken in 30 minutes or less?
Yeah, homemade and it tastes like takeout. And so it's a win-win in our book.
Yes, wonderful. Okay, so another dessert that caught my eye, and I honestly can't say I've ever seen this before, is lemon brownies. And I've heard of lemon
You,
bars, like lime
yes.
bars, but lemon brownies with a lemon
Brownies.
cream cheese frosting.
Yes, you are missing out. Just imagine the texture of a brownie, but lemon. And so it's soft, it's chewy, and then it's got that fluffy cream cheese frosting on top. This is something that my mom, we grew up with these. We thought everybody had lemon brownies. And my mom would make these for family parties, or if we had like a neighborhood potluck, she would bring these, and they were always some of the first to go. um, they're just it's a really fun dessert. I have one sister who does not love chocolate, and I don't know
Mhm.
why,
Yeah.
but these lemon brownies are her go-to
Yeah, it's kind
recipe of
of
choice.
fascinating. I'm
Mhm.
live in Kentucky, have
Okay.
lived in Kentucky most of my life, and like I said, we have the lemon bars, or we would have
Yeah.
a non-chocolate brownie that we called blondies that would be
Yes.
brown sugar and butter and maybe pecans, sometimes not, but it was more of
Yes.
like a chewy caramely brownie rather than the lemon.
Yeah.
So it just and then I thought, well, is this made with a cake mix? But the answer is no, it's not. It's just
No.
eggs, flour, butter, sugar, a lemon,
Yeah.
obviously, and then the frosting.
Yeah.
So that looks really,
Yeah.
really,
All things
really
you
good.
probably have
Oh
in
yeah.
your pantry. You might have to grab a lemon at the grocery store, but other than that, you've got all the ingredients you need.
Yeah. And I think we can easily imagine that vegetables are easy to cook in under 30 minutes. But there is a
Yes.
recipe for Parmesan roasted sweet potato that looks
Mm,
really good because sometimes we think of potatoes as maybe a chunkier, harder vegetable. It might take longer to cook. But the way that you prepare this allows you to come in under the 30-minute time frame. And it looks really good also.
yes. It's so good. I think a lot of times, like in my family, growing up, sweet potatoes were a big dish at Thanksgiving, and they're
Mhm.
sweetened with brown sugar and cinnamon and even marshmallows sometimes. And while that's delicious, it's not something you want to have year round. It's almost more of a dessert. And so making it this way is such a yummy and healthy side dish, but also so quick to come together.
Y
So,
yeah, and then there's also recipes for soups, there's New England clam chowder, there's a really nice
yeah.
looking multi-cooker salmon bowl. Bowls are very popular,
Hmm.
I'm sure. Tell us a little bit about
Yes.
bowls. What have you seen on the webs on your blog related to bowls?
What people love, I think the main thing that people are looking for are different ways to make bowls. Everybody loves the idea of that you can get a lot of vegetables and a protein, and they're filling. And so people are just looking for different ways to prepare them and different ways to make them work for your family. And so we do have a lot of different recipes for bowls on our site, and all of them have different sauces and different proteins and different ways to prepare them. And you can spend as much or as little time on them as you want. But I think what's so great about them and making them for dinner is everybody gets to choose what they want to put on their bowl.
Yeah.
My picky eaters keep it really simple with like rice and a protein. Well, my other more adventurous eaters load it up with all the things that I put out. And I just love that it works for everybody. And
Yeah.
I think in big families, that's what works best, or even little families. You just, in order to meet the needs of everybody and the desires of everybody, it's a great way to put dinner on the table.
Yeah, I think it's true, and I love the way that it can be customized based on preferences, what people like, what they
Yeah.
don't like, and, it's a really fun way to eat. So was there anything
Yes.
that you had thought maybe you could get under 30 minutes that just did not make the cut because of the time?
We there were a few things, especially like we love a good pot roast. We love
Mhm.
like there's so much you can do with shredded, like with roasts and then shred them up and use that cut of meat, especially inexpensively. But for this cookbook, it didn't quite
Yeah,
fit the bill, but it's okay. It will
yeah,
be included in upcoming cookbooks. It's in old cookbooks. Plus, you can find so many recipes on our website.
yeah, yeah, it's wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
it's great. I think 100 plus quick and easy meals the whole family will love. So,
Yes.
what are your all's plans for promoting the book other than obviously talking about it on your socials, your website? Are you all getting out and about any where people might be able to come and connect with you?
Yeah, we're mostly doing it in Salt Lake City. We're doing some book signings and appearances, also some TV spots around Salt Lake City. What's so interesting is that our reach on social media, we have over 4 million followers on our social media channels, and they're across the world. And so, some of our favorite places to promote our book is just on our own
Yeah,
social media
yeah,
platform. We can do it from our own house, from our kitchen, and we can reach all those nooks and crannies in the world that people who like to follow us and choose to follow us. And so it's fun to celebrate with them that another cookbook has come out, and that's where we will spend the majority of our time.
yeah. I think that's true. So, why don't you tell everybody how they can connect with you all online?
Awesome. So just six sisters stuff all spelled out. And it's you can use that name on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, X, all of the different platforms. We are there. So
Yes. Was Six Sisters Stuff the original name of your all's blog?
it was
Yeah,
because it wasn't recipes, it
yeah.
was just our
Stuff.
stuff. And so we kept the name because it was fun,
Yeah,
and we wanted to remember how we started. So
yeah,
it's
no,
all our stuff.
it is all your stuff. I think that's great. And that didn't really hit me until just now when you were saying
Yes.
the name for the socials that that's really what it is. It's not just Six Sisters.
Yes, isn't that so funny? Even though if you put in Six Sisters, it will pull us up, but the official long name, the Six Sisters stuff.
Yes, yes. Now we need to have a short conversation about families and sisters. I told you before we started the
Yes.
recording that I'm one of seven girls. Our family has eight children, seven girls and one boy. So I have six sisters, but I'm the seventh. And
It's so
I'm
fun.
number five. But you said you were
I'm number one. I'm the
number one, the
oldest.
oldest.
Yes.
Yes, isn't that something?
Yes.
Yeah. So
It's so fun.
which sister initially, when you think back to the beginning, was like really the
Mhm.
driving force behind getting the site up and getting everybody to post?
It kind of was a joint effort. It was something we discussed all together and we all agreed to it. It was just kind of one of those sister conversations. And we were like, what if we did this? Ooh, yeah, what if we did? And what would it look like? And we just kind of we all bought into it from day one.
Yeah. That's amazing. Amazing. And I
Yeah.
think it's just built-in friendships,
Yes.
built-in support,
Yeah.
built-in if
Built-in
somebody's
love.
exactly.
Hmm.
And that's
Hmm.
love that is stretched a lot of ways and given a lot of ways, but it's always multiplied and better when it's shared. And I just think it's an amazing thing. And I've often had this wonder in this question, Camille, is
Okay.
how many families out there in the world have large amounts of sisters like we do?
It's funny you say that because as we have, been in this space for a long time, we have actually gotten some emails, actually many emails over the years, and even met families of
Oh,
six sisters.
yeah.
And probably my favorite one that we ever got was an email, and it had a picture, and it was six old ladies together. These were ladies that were all in their 70s and 80s, and they had posed for a picture, and they said, "We are actually the original six sisters." And they were just teasing, but they were six sisters who grew up together, um and they just loved what we were doing because they were so close as a family. And what's fun too is that my great grandma was actually one of seven sisters.
Oh, wow.
And so it's kind of in our blood. We know um big families and big families of girls is just something that has been in our DNA. And
Yeah.
so it's fun to kind of learn from the past and use that going forward.
Well, there was never any shortage of clothes, although they weren't always my clothes.
Goodness.
You always knew that you could go sneak something out of somebody's closet and wear it. There was no shortage of
Right.
hair products and hair
No.
cuts
Oh,
and
and hairspray.
hairstyles. We all
Yes.
wore glasses or contacts. So my
Oh,
mother, when we sold our family home, she said, "I wonder how many contact lenses are like in the carpet
oh
of
my
this house."
gosh.
There's no
Yes.
shortage of boyfriends coming and going from
Oh,
the house. Some
yes.
some stuck around longer than others, some didn't, so no shortage of that. No shortage
Yes.
of sisters teaching each other to drive, sisters, that one of my sisters fell once and broke her tailbone when we lived at home, and
Oh,
so we
oh
were,
no.
like, helping take care of her, so it's
Oh,
and my mom was always there, but it was
yeah.
always seemed like we were just, like, doing things with and for each other, and,
Yes.
I think in my mom's older age, and even my father, he died, many years before my mom did, but
Mhm.
they would just, they just loved having everybody around and, listening to us
Yes.
talk and laugh, and my mom always said that, she wanted us to continue that even after she wasn't here, and when you lose the matriarch, is your mother still alive?
She is,
Yeah.
and our dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So when, that's the important thing is when they're no longer here, just keeping that intact and finding reasons to get together and
Love
do
that.
things together because it's
Yes.
really important. You don't want that to go away because it's a very special
No,
relationship with a very
it
special
is.
number of people. Yeah.
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 Yep. People you get to do life with, and I love
Exactly,
that.
exactly. Well, one more thing about sisters. I remember seeing a book once, or maybe it was a blog, a set of sisters every year took their picture. Did you ever see this in the same order? So in their birth order, but whenever they got together, they always took the picture and just the collection of pictures they had over the years of the way that they changed and
Oh, I love that.
fascinating. I know, I
I
know.
wish I had done
I do
that. You
too.
can
I
still
do
do it.
too. You can, yes, you can start right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
start today.
Yes, exactly. So it's wonderful that you all do this together. I'm sure you all have a
Thank
variety
you.
of talents and skills, and just keep going. That's what you do. Keep doing things for Susan. She appreciates it, I'm sure. And I really thank you all so much. You so much for coming on the show.
Yes, of course. Thanks for having me. This was a lovely conversation. I
Yes,
appreciate it.
yes. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of the Cookbook Love Podcast. Again, all the links can be found in the show notes at www.cookbooklove.co. And if you are interested in writing a cookbook of your own, please check out the free cookbook writing masterclass called How to Get Paid to Write a Cookbook. It is designed specifically for food or nutrition experts, and you can check that out at www.cookbookwritersacademy.com/free. So that's it for today's episode of the Cookbook Love Podcast. This is your host, Maggie Green. And until next time, have a great day and keep loving your cookbooks.
Thanks for listening to the Cookbook Love Podcast. You can find out more information at www.cookbooklove.co.